one light, and we Martians want a choice in light beer.
Well, of course you do. You guys are known for that.
So when I heard that your bar here served Bud Light, I hopped right in my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You know, it took me 9 minutes to get here.
Gee, you must have the lights against you all the way.
No, I spent some time taking in the sights.
Listen, you made a good choice in Bud Light.
I know.
The best has a taste all its own and won't fill you up.
I know.
But the thing is, pal, I don't have 62,000 Bud Lights, so how about just one for starters?
Okay, I'll have one Bud Light.
Good, here you go.
Ask for Bud Light, the less filling light beer with a first name and taste.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
But I couldn't help noticing that's the second Bud Light in a row you've poured in your ear.
Yeah, so?
Well, you see, on Earth we drink Bud Light with our mouths.
Your mouths? Then how do you see?
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
The ground we bury, the seeds of our past, all the things we carry. Now we're down to our bed. May have the distance. Can't say something crazy out loud.
Francis and the Lights, May I Have This Dance? And the Indiana Pacers are one win away from punching their ticket to the dance, to the NBA Finals. It's Soriano with you on the Soriano Network, WSIB Radio, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, wherever you may be. A little under the weather today. Little under the weather. One of those days where you just need, I guess, some soup. Watch a good movie. The rain's coming down in Staten Island, New York. And just, yeah. But we're going to keep you company for a little bit right now and discuss what's going on. Big happenings here in New York. Pacers, like I said, one win away from the NBA Finals. They went up 3-1 on the Knicks last night. And it's funny to me how the Knicks are playing worse against the Pacers this year than they did last year when they were unhealthy. So we'll get into that. Mets lose a tough one today. A game that you can't lose, and you can't lose the way that they lost. Yankees are getting tested by the Angels, if you will. But they're bending, but they're not breaking. Angels are playing them tough in Anaheim. But the Yankees have won the first two of the series. They've won 15 of their last 19. And then you have obviously what's going on with the politics and Cuomo and Adams, and we'll get into that. But we're going to start with the PSAL baseball playoffs, which we did the PSAL baseball preview the other day. And to say I was off was an understatement. Both teams that I had winning the championship are eliminated. So sorry, guys. Didn't want to be the kiss of death there. John Jay Campus goes down in the round two to South Bronx 5-1. South Bronx played an incredible game. Incredible. Emil Torres was incredible. 7 strikeouts through 6 2/3. 5 walks. Pitch count was a little high. Pretty much why he didn't get the complete game. 109 pitches. He went over the limit. Luis Nunez closed it out for the last out. But 3 hits only, a run, and he kept that John Jay offense at bay at Parade Grounds, where John Jay has been good all year. Well, they only really lost one game, and that was the last game of the season to Grand Street, 12-1 at home. And it was then, I think it was the Grand Street series that we started talking about John Jay, where is the pitching getting fatigued? Is the pitching getting tired? They won the game 10-8 against Grand Street the day before to clinch the division. Now, again, I don't think they were sitting there dogging it, but they got shellacked the next day. They had everything locked up. They pretty much had everything locked up. Um, I mean, they could have lost a one seed, given how bad they lost that last game, but they ended up keeping it. Tottenham took two, Richmond Hill took three. Um, but we talked about that pitching, and was the pitching getting fatigued, getting tired? Um, with Wagner, they kind of gutted that out. They broke open late for the 12-2 win over Wagner 2 days prior to the South Bronx game. So we thought, okay, but again, it was Wagner. Uh, Pitching gave up 5 runs to the South Bronx. Really, it was the offense too that just didn't do anything. Run in the first inning, and that was it. So John Jay, they take a milestone in school history where it's the first time that they've won the division, but they take a couple steps back because they've been Elite Eight, semifinals, championship round last year, and they go out in round two this year. So disappointing for John Jay. There's no other way around it. I mean, this was the number one team in the city for a reason, and they don't even make it to the quarterfinals, to the semifinals, to the finals. They go out in the second round, 5-1 in the South Bronx. So Beacon ended up defeating South Bronx 10-1, and they will start their semifinals against Inwood Campus on Friday at 3:30 at Seton Park. Inwood is another program that has risen the last couple of years. And with PSAL baseball, it was always George Washington, James Monroe. Then you had high school telecommunications was a pitching factory back in the day. You had Madison, and then you had Tottenville, Wagner. So you have these schools that were powerhouses that we knew they were going to be powerhouses every year. Grant Street campus. But Grant Street has fallen off as of late. But this is what we've had. And George Washington and Monroe have kind of taken a back seat, and we have the new crowd now. Look at what John Jay is doing, and look at what Inwood's doing. Beacon is a very successful program, but Inwood Campus is a team that they did miss a beat. Coming from the 2A to the 3A, they did not miss a beat. Not a beat. And they got a, this is Beacon, by the way. Tremendous outing by Jagabrush. Six innings, 8 strikeouts, again 4 walks. We've seen a lot of walks by the starting pitchers this PSAL playoffs, which is unfortunate because you know you have the pitch count there, so you got to kind of keep that down. Uh, but you're also getting a lot of strikeouts, which is also putting the pitch count up as well. 8 strikeouts, 4 walks. Only give up 4 hits and a run through six. William Schechter put it out, but Beacon's got a good pitching rotation. Their lineup can score some runs, and Inwood Campus is hungry. Inwood also has been pretty solid this playoffs. 8-3 winners over Grant Street, which is never easy. I know Grant Street is taking a step back, but it's never easy. And they kind of put up some serious runs. I know they were the 4 seed, Grant Street was the 5 seed, but it was a nice 8-3 win over Grant Street to advance. They beat New Dorp 10-0. Bronx Science 5-0. So their pitching has held up, and that'll be a good one, Beacon and Inwood. And they will face the winner of Richmond Hill and Tottenville. And I thought this was funny. I thought this was really funny. Now, again, Tottenville is still that Lone Ranger. They're the one that, the constant. There's Tottenville every year going deep in the playoffs. But I thought it was fitting that Richmond Hill beat George Washington 9-4, and Tottenville shut out Monroe 4-0. I mean, that game felt like 9-10, 11-0 just because Monroe wasn't getting anything going offensively. And the Tottenville pitching has been extraordinary. No. They've been perfect this entire playoffs. 10-0 against Scholars Academy, 7-0 against Newtown, 4-0 against Monroe. And if you count the regular season games, last couple of games, they've given up about 1 run in their last 10 games. It is scary how good this pitching is. And we spoke about it when The questions were when John Jay came into town, beat him 9-2, dropped him to 3-1 on the year. And we were like, oh, is this over for Tottenville? Is this over for Tottenville? They lost 9. Is it over for Tottenville? And they came right back and they've been hungrier. And the pitching has really shown up. And they haven't given up a run this playoffs. I think Richmond Hill will score some runs, although Richmond Hill last year got to the semis and did absolutely nothing against John Jay, lost 9-0 and 6-1. So they're expecting a better, and they were home. They had home seed last year. So they're looking for a little bit of a better performance. It's not going to be easy. I think Tottenham will push it through. But again, to my point, Tottenham beats Monroe and Richmond Hill beats George Washington 9-4, hangs a 9 spot on them. These were a while ago, I could say not too long ago, they were the powerhouses of PSAL baseball. They even played each other in the championship a couple of years ago. But we're seeing a shift in PSAL. We are seeing a very seismic shift, which makes what Tottenville is doing even better and even more impressive. Because what Tottenville is doing is that they are remaining there. They're remaining consistent. They're only losing 1, 2 games a year. They're going undefeated. Monroe has had a struggle in their division the last couple of years. They've had a struggle mightily. And this year, Monroe was 7. I don't even think Monroe won the division this year. They did. They did. South Bronx went into a tailspin towards the end of the year, because they were neck and neck with them. But 10-4, and they struggled against Morris. They struggled against South Bronx. They struggled. They struggled. And George Washington this year was the 11th seed. They didn't finish first in their division. They were 9-5. They were second to Inwood, who was 12-1. Inwood has really taken over that division. South Bronx, by the way, and Morris are creeping up on Monroe in their division. But 7 seed for Monroe, 11 for Washington. The Steve Mandel days, Mike Torra, who's still there with Monroe. I mean, these were sure things like, wow. I remember when I was playing baseball for Port Richmond. Wow, we're playing Monroe. Wow, we're playing George Washington. Wow. These are powerhouse schools. I don't think there's that aura anymore. It's worn off. It's a new day for the PSAL in terms of AAA conference baseball, except for Tottenville, who was there every single year. And they transitioned from Tom Tierney Jr. to Mike Rippo without even a hitch. Without a hitch. Tottenville, it's like they didn't miss a beat. They went from Tierney to Grippo without any looking back. And that's impressive. George Washington, they have struggled and they continue to just every single year down, down, down. They had a better year than they did last year. They were actually a sub 500 team last year, which is unheard of for GW. But like I said, that's the name of the game. And Monroe, they're the same. They still have. I think Monroe's in better shape than George Washington. Like GW is really not the same. You see flashes of it from Monroe. George Washington just you don't. You don't. I mean, they had a claw to win their game against Clinton. They had a claw. I will give them credit though. That was a nice upset when they had over Francis Lewis. 8-3. And again, they played him a lot this year, so it helped. But just not the same. Not the same. But Tottenville and Richmond Hill, I think, will be a good one. Uh, and then Inwood and Beacon. Oof. I don't know. I can no matter what's going to be a good championship, whether it's Beacon, Richmond Hill, Beacon, Tottenville, Inwood, Tottenville, Inwood, Richmond Hill, and I mean either way, Beacon, Richmond Hill. I think it's going to be a fantastic championship series. Fantastic. Um, so we're looking forward to that. In the 2A, the Port Richmond Raiders, and I said this last week. I said, don't be surprised if the Port Richmond Raiders get to the Elite Eight. And what happened? They got to the Elite Eight. 9-8 winners over New Utrecht, who, again, that was a good opponent for them. They were very familiar with the Utes. And they were down 5-2 late. This was a New Utrecht 5-2 lead going into the sixth. And the way the Portland bats were going, like, okay, we're gonna, you know, we're gonna wrap it up. But no, 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 not at all. They take the 9-8 win. And to me, they are one of the most scariest teams still left in the entire playoffs. I know that they're the 28th seed, which I thought was really low for them. I know, you want to go standings wise, but that's really low. Really low. Like that just goes to show you that nobody saw this team play this year. They are not they, they're not a 2018 seeded team. I'm not saying they're a top 10, but 28. Oh, come on. But Jaden Romano, catcher, who I happen to coach over at West Shore Little League, he is doing fantastic for them. We can't say enough about Alex DePetro, and he's only a junior. Keep that in mind, folks. He's only a junior. Port Richmond has only one, two, three. They're only graduating three seniors. They're bringing the whole team back next year. So if you're Port Richmond, you're in a fantastic position because right now you're in the Elite Eight. You're going to face either Grace Dodge or American Studies, which would probably be American Studies. Um, but now with the rain, they may throw DePetro. He threw. They played Brooklyn Prospect 2-1. They beat him 2-1 on the 23rd. DePetro went the whole game, 8 innings, 8 strikeouts, 94 pitches. That's efficient. One walk. And we spoke about what we're seeing in the 3A, with a lot of these pitchers are not getting the complete game. They're going 5 2/3, 6 6 2/3, because they're getting 9 strikeouts but 5 6 walks. Alex got the 8 strikeouts, but the one walk. Only 4 hits. He's doing beautifully. So he went the whole game. That was 8 innings. He went the whole game. That was the 23rd. Yesterday, Shea throws Alexander Saphopoulos. I totally butchered the name, Alex. I'm so sorry. I'm sure Shea will text me later. Son, you butchered my kid's last name. 4 2/3, 9 strikeouts, 6 walks was where he struggled. Okay. Um, and then Cortez came in 2 innings, 6 walks. Again, the rest of the pitching staff has to kind of look down, cut down on their walks. Cortez also is a catcher, so that's to me, it's tough to do both. However, this is how big this is how big it was for Portland to win this game because the pitching matchups didn't line up. New Utrecht had the better pitching matchup. Portland squeezed this one out. This was a good one. Now, tomorrow, So all right, so they're gonna have to move this game because Grace Dodge and American Studies got rained out. So they'll play tomorrow at Long Island City High School Field at 4:30. So you're figuring Friday they'll probably play. And they'll probably play American Studies, poor Richmond. But again, with Alex on the hill, I'm telling you right now, they could be anyone. I mean, look what they did to Brooklyn Prospect. That was the 5 seed, and they beat him 2-1. Like, not enough people are talking about how good Port Richmond has been doing this entire playoffs. And hats off to Shea, hats off to Mayo for what they are doing with this team. And again, I tell you right now, win it for Tommy. Win it for Tommy. Win it for Tommy. 100%. Um, Real quick on the Mets today, 9-4 loss. Canning turned into, well, Canning. Pitch count was very high through, I think he only went 3 innings, if I'm not mistaken, or 4. He didn't go long. Where's today? White Sox Mets. White Sox Mets. I don't think the Mets still, to their credit, have given up 10 runs. Well, that'll be the rallying cry for the Met fans. You haven't given up 10 runs yet. No. Yeah, Griffin Canning, 3 innings pitched, 4 hits, but 5 runs, 3 earned, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, 83 pitches in 3 innings. That's not going to get it done. His ERA is still 3.23. Um, and again, I think really the last couple of starts he's had, the reason why his ERA is still pretty good at 3.23 is because Mendoza keeps taking him out before he starts getting really beaten down. They took him out. The pitch count was up there. 3 innings, 4 hits. Waddle looked lost today. He was cruising a little bit, and he just looked lost, started getting tattooed towards the end. But the big story here is, first off, Francisco Lindor has cooled down, and no one's talking about this. And I know the thing is to get on Soto. Oh my God, this and that. He's our biggest player. And again, that comes with the territory. He's in New York. Now you can say, oh, well, he was in New York last year with the Yankees. He wasn't getting this much scrutinized. He signed the biggest contract in baseball. He is the guy. He's making Alex Rodriguez money. And we all know how hated A-Rod was. I'm not saying Juan Soto is as unlikable and cocky as A-Rod, but again, that's what's going to come with the territory. And another 0 for 4 performance from Soto. Oh, he drew a walk. Yay. 1 strikeout. He's hitting 224. 224. Now, this was the White Sox. And he really didn't do much against the White Sox. At home. You're at Citi Field against White Sox pitching. And you couldn't do anything. But again, take Soto off the board. Lindor has gone ice cold. Ice cold. 0 for 5 today, 3 strikeouts. He's hitting 269. That's just not talked about. That's, to me, I feel that's more of a blow than Soto because Lindor starts everything off. Lindor is the guy. Granted, Lindor will come up with a clutch hit every now and then, but really, he has struggled mightily over the last month or so. Pete also. I mean, I remember when Pete was hitting 350. He's down to 290. He had a big double today, kind of meaningless in the ninth inning, 1 for 4, and he's under 300. He's at 290. And yeah, it's good the Mets took a series against the White Sox, but it's the White Sox, and they struggled Monday, 2-1 win. They had to walk it off. They went 7 innings without scoring a run off of the Chicago White Sox, who were 18-38. A team that's 20 games under 500, and you were getting shut out at home for 7 innings. And they had to squeak their way last night, 6-4. And today, 9-4. And again, with the pitching, oh, the pitching, my God. Oh, this is like Colfax and Glavine. The White Sox coming into town? Shutout, shutout, shutout. 4 runs last night and 9 runs today they give up to one of the worst teams in baseball. Now I know. Oh, the Yankees lost to Colorado. They lost a tight one in Colorado. I'm not making excuses here, but that's what the Met fan will throw. Oh, well, the Yankees lost to the Colorado Rockies. Okay, and you struggle at home and lost the game at home and gave up 9 runs at home to the White Sox. Do you see where the disconnect is here? The Yankees aren't giving up 9 runs to shitty teams at home. They're just not doing it. And Judge isn't going an 0 for against these type of teams. He's doing what he has to do. I mean, for Soto to come in here and go another 0 for today, 0 for 4, he's hitting 224. For the love of God, this is horrendous. When's it going to stop? When's it going to end? When's it going to start? I know the Met fans and they want to be so positive, just like with the Knicks. They win one game. It's a 2-1 series lead. It's like they won the finals. This is why I can't stand Knicks fans or Met fans. Again, I try. I'm not saying all of you are like this, but my God, when the Knicks won Game 3, it was like they won the NBA. There was no other games in the NBA. That was the NBA Finals, Game 7. The Knicks won Game 3. And they came out and they got embarrassed. Now, the reason I have the mustache also is because they even if they win this series and come back, they're not going to win it in 6, which I said. So, hence, that's why the mustache is here. But I just can't take these fans. The same with the Mets. Gary Cohen, and again, Gary's sitting there jizzing in the fucking booth. You beat the White Sox 2-1, Gar. Calm down. You gotta start taking these teams to task and calling them out. The Knicks are gutless. Halliburton is shitting all. He's whipping his dick out and he's slapping every single one of the Knicks in the face. He's just whipping it out and cock slapping every single player on the Knicks. And no one's doing a damn thing about it. Lifeless, gutless. Oh yeah, they won Game 3. Okay, and again, Brunson, can he make a shot when it matters? Recently, come on, stop. Same with the Mets. Yeah, it's great. You're winning 2 out of 3, but you got to be concerned. You're not looking good against one of the worst teams in baseball. You lost today to them at home. And it's like they're afraid to boo Soto. We can't boo Soto. Tommy Lou guy with his stupid hat backwards and all these Met fans, Evan Robb, all these guys, it's like they're afraid to criticize Juan Soto because that was the guy they took from the Yankees. So we can't boo him. They booed Alonso disgustingly last year, but they can't boo Soto. Because if they boo Soto, that's egg on their face. Because they got him from the Yankees. He's supposed to be the star that we stole from the Yankees. Instead, he sucks. And again, we are past Memorial Day. We are past Memorial Day, the 28th of May, and Juan Soto's hitting 224. Now, can he turn it on? Absolutely, he can turn it on. He did it last year. He absolutely can turn it on. And who knows when the weather gets warmer? I mean, again, we haven't had a warm spring so far in New York, but who knows? Late June, July, August, the weather starts getting good. He's starting to feel comfortable at the plate. Okay, but still, I mean, 0 for 4 at home against the White Sox. You're hitting 224. You got to wake up. And then there's the Yankees chugging through. Have won 15 of their last 19 games quietly. Quietly. Now I know the American League is not good, but the Yankees are doing what they're supposed to do. And the pitching, Rondon has been fantastic. And it really sucks to see because if you would have had a healthy Cole and you had a Cole that delivered with Fried and Rodon, this team's won the World Series. At least get into it again. Pitching, pitching, pitching. But I mean, I didn't think Rodon would be this good. He went another 7 innings last night. Big Dick Carlos. Why is Andrew Cuomo an asshole? We'll talk about that after this.
666 Number 6. Going to the airport. Number 6. Running around town. I'll call now. Number 6. It's right in town. Only you want to know. I'm now the number to know. I call now. Be on time. Worldwide. And nationwide. 666.